And welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and this one is part 2 of the last one, How I Get Started, Ready, Set, Go. The next thing is, now what? What do I do next after I ready, set, go? This one was actually inspired by another fellow painter from Germany, and I thank you very much. Her name is Cheryl Bree. Asked me this question, show me a little bit more after you do this, ready, set, go. And so what I do is that actually I do a lot of small, very fast, loose, juicy, colorful beginnings. I'm not trying to make a masterpiece. You know, this is like your stretching exercises, your Pilates, your shoulder rolls, that kind of thing, as opposed to going right into the studio and starting on that 6-foot painting. Yay! No, start off warm-ups. Like any great athlete, you gotta warm up a little bit. Same in painting. So these are my stretching exercises. They all might not be like fantastic paintings, but boy, the stretching and stretching the creativity is starting to work. The juices are starting to flow, and everyone doesn't become so precious. That's the fear. They don't have to be perfect. Painting is not perfect. Painting is painting, and it's your expression. Do the best you can. You do get better, and that's why I do a lot of beginnings. I want to get better. You don't do it by just starting off with a great painting. Warm-ups. They get bigger and bigger. Even the figures, simple little warm-ups like that. Figures. Even, I have chickens, so I'm going to paint some chickens, lots of chickens. They're silly and fun and uplifting. Where does all this lead? To much larger paintings with more confidence, more determination, and more gutsiness, and more juicy and more colorful paintings with more confidence. That's how you build up confidence. Repeating, practice. You've heard it a million times. Sorry, there's no quick 20 secrets of how to be a better painter. It's called practice. Let me show you how I start off, ready, set, go, now what? So getting started, I started with 6-inch by 9-inch watercolor paper. These are my warm-ups. And I put a mid-tone. In this case, I'm putting on an orange, better known as a marigold. Just put it on loosely. And I've taped everything down, by the way. I've taped it all down from behind, not on the top. I like to paint on the whole piece of paper. I don't worry about a border and that kind of thing. So there you go. It's real simple. That's the startup. That's the first color I put down. So it's a generally upbeat color. Big brushes, by the way, not these tiny little brushes. The reason I do so many warm-ups of the same subject, it builds confidence. If you know you only have one chance, one painting, you tend to paint slower and with a little bit more exactness. But this is a painting, and so I like to get started with the simple colors. I'm not trying to make an illustration of a mirror image. I'm making this all up. I do put out the simple red, yellow, blues, a little bit of black. Yep, I use black. And a whole lot of dollops of white paint, titanium or gesso, as long as it's thick and it has a lot of titanium in it. So today, what I'm going to do is something that's so simple. I've done a million times. And I still love doing them. And we're just going to start off with a little bit of blue. I do my mixing on the table, by the way, not on the paper itself. And just light sketches. This is a 3/4 of an inch. I'm going to do a pear, simple pear, which is nothing more than a ball and a triangle on the top, something like that. And you do all of these. Give them some personality. They all don't have to be the same. That's not what we're doing. You're making all this up. Simple pear, and even though this is still wet, I'm still going to go for it. Big juicy ball. Now it sits on a table. I'm going to put an imaginary table there behind the pear. It's not sitting on top. The other thing I might want to do is I'm going to decide where is the light coming from. Well, notice first of all my paints and my brushes and my water, it's all on the right-hand side. I'm right-handed. Most of it's up there or on the right-hand side. You don't want to walk across from all your paintings to pick up your paint. I also determine where is my light coming from. That's step number important. Step number important. So if the light's coming on this pear, that means it's going to be darker on this side. Think of the moon. Dark on one side and also dark on over there, that side, right? I do them all quickly, big brushes, really wet, so you can see splashes all over the place. We're not going for accuracy here. We're going for something that looks fun to paint, and it looks like you had a great time doing it at the same time. I'm gonna make this even bigger. Let's give it some big personality. There we go, even bigger. Almost a silly personality. There we go. Now, on this side, it's gonna be darker. Doing this quickly again. I don't wanna switch over to a bigger brush. Two things happen. You're looser and you paint it faster too. You get it done faster. This pear is gonna be a couple of colors, maybe greenish. So I'm gonna add some yellow. This is Holbein Hansa yellow. Right into this, so it's more greenish now. More greenish. Is that a word? There we go. It is now. There we go. More on the green side. There we go. Nice and dark. Let's make it even darker. And this is the time to be silly colors, not to be so accurate. And it should be nothing but a series of what if. What if I try this? What if I try this? I'm going to add some of the yellow to this red. Whoa, look at that. Whew. And that side of the pear. This side of the pear. This side of the pear. I'm using more yellow than I thought, so I'm gonna add some more out. Yeah, fantastic. Add some more over here. I don't clean my brush. That's where you get those happy accidents, right? You could. This is how I do it. It's not the way to do it. There's no the way to do it. This is how I do it. I'm coming back in here now with some white highlights. Since that's the side of the pear that's going to be the lightest, I'm going to make sure it really is the lightest. Short, choppy strokes. That's the thing I wanted to point out to you. You see short, choppy strokes. You don't see me back and forth, back and forth. Get in, get out. Get in, get out. Short, choppy strokes. Show the brush marks. Show people how much fun it is to paint, not how difficult it is. We won't let them know. Now let's not just stay with the pear. Let's get going with the background. I'm going to put in a little bit of a blue shadow. For a shadow, that does a couple of things. It shows everyone where's the light coming from. So on this side, the shadow from the pear is going to be on this side. Shadow going off, it's sitting on top of its shadow. Not behind, it sits on top of its own shadow. That's a nice little hint there. All right. And quickly, I'm going to now go into the background. I want to mix up some of these colors together to make like a dark hue. I'm going to put some red, some blue, and maybe a little bit of black. Oh, I love that black. Makes it dramatic, right? So we're in a dark room. And here is the pear in a dark room. That's some of the yellow peek through. That's why I like to put in a warm little negative shape painting here. There's your stem. Now, I'm pretending, I'm doing all of these quickly at the same time, by the way. Really fast. Oh, if it starts to bleed, that's fine. I'm not too worried about that. I'm more concerned about putting paint down. And while I'm there in the area, there's your stem. Let's keep on going. I might even pick up some other colors that are dark. Blue, add some black to that blue. Let some of that pink, or rather the yellow peek through. There you go again. And don't go all the way down. I'm going to use that for the light area. Do a little bit more up in here. Now I'm putting all kinds of colors on my brush. Kind of that joie de vivre kind of painting here. Now I want to show the light beam coming through here, and it's shining on the back wall. Short, choppy strokes. Soften that a little bit. Short, choppy strokes. Get in, get out. Think of the French Impressionists. Think of Seurat. Think of Chuck Close. Get in, get out. Short, choppy strokes. Beautiful. Beautiful. don't fall in love with it too soon. I'm just excited about being able to paint today in the studio. It's a wonderful day to paint. Every day is a good day to paint. So what I have here, dark against a light. This will be lighter. This will be dark. This will be light. So that's what I'm going for right now. The background, in, out. That's some of that yellow peek through. The base colors peek through. That's what gives it its je ne sais quoi, I think. I'm going to come in here, redo, wet on top of wet, right on top of wet. Get in, get out. Don't scrumble it. It'll turn into, you know what? In, out, in, out, in. Let's see if we can put some colors in here too. It's nice to put a little bit of red in here. That's what gives it its personality. The warmth in here. They're all not going to be like fantastic. I like to actually try some experimental stuff when I'm working this fast and this size. If you don't do it here, where else are you going to do it? All right. This is where I like to say many are called, but few are chosen. There we go. In, out, in, out. Give them some personality. I'm all over the place here with this one. Good. Now, the table itself. I want the table to be a cream color. A little bit of yellow and this color into it. I want the table to read as a white tablecloth. Let some of that yellow peek through. That's the marigold. That's a beautiful color as a base color. Softening it here. Get in, get out. Whoa, look at that. It's called painting with a dirty brush. Cool. Cool. It's called painting, period. There we go. Let's go back over here again. The table. Back edge of the table. In, out. Use plenty of water. That's how you keep it to be juicy. You want the paint to flow off. This is not spackling. You want the paint to flow off your brush. So water, that's all you got. There's water. To thin it down. Keeping it as juicy as I possibly can and as quick as I can without being too silly. There we go. Now I'm going to change the color of the shadow a little bit more. I like more of a bluish shadow. Tends to be the complementary color of the light source, right? Sun's orange, yellow. That's the color of the light source, of the shadow. Come in with a little bit more boldness, more bold up in here, more black, why not? Come back, painting on top of it even more so. It makes this stand out even more. Let's do this one. See, by painting this many at the same time, you're not trying to make each one perfect, and that's kind of important. Also, don't make the line where it's dark on one side and light on the other side at the stem. You want to blend it a little bit. Use my fingers all the time. There we go, some negative shape painting, which I love so much. There we go. Softening this. The eye is going to go to the part of the painting that doesn't draw attention to itself. So you want to have those lines soft. You want the pear to come forward, so those lines are going to be hard edge. Back here, you don't want a hard edge like that. Like that. Your eye's going to go there. So it will draw too much attention to itself. So you want to blend it more with just water while it's still wet, or your finger. You blend it a little bit better. See, and now that brings the pear even further, closer to you rather. I'm going to anchor it one more time with a really small, if you look at everything sitting on the table, it has a small little dark line underneath it. Doesn't have to be huge. I like how my hand's just ripping all over the place here. finger painting time. Yeah, I do put a lubricant on my hands, like a salve, so it's easier for me to clean my hands at the end of the day. I don't wear the gloves only because I put holes in them too frequently, and I do like painting with my hands. And big brushes, no tiny brushes. See how they're all developing all at the same time. You don't finish one and then go to the next one. You work all at the same time. It keeps you looser and more happy accents. They're nice to have once in a while. I'm going back in here again. Just blue. I haven't even used all my colors on the color wheel. This is just to show you briefly, quickly. Just using the 3 colors. And use them creatively. They don't have to be separate. I'm doing my mixing. To get a green, of course, I'm mixing the yellows and the blues. I'm not concerned about cool blues or warm blues or things like that. I'm looking for a visual impact at this point. A little dark over here. Again, I like to give it some personality here. Make it clumpy. There we go. Make it fun to look at. Don't make it boring to look at. So these are single objects. You can do a coffee cup, eyeglasses, singular objects sitting on a table. Do a toothbrush, a tube of paint. Think Richard Diebenkorn, he painted everything that was on his table. Cigarettes, cigarette butts, things like that. But he made them into beautiful paintings. I'm gonna come in here and give it a little bit of red in here, just because it's fun to do that. Makes absolutely no sense, but I like the red in here. It's a nice little surprise. I like the surprises. As if it were reflecting from a wall on the other side of the room. Not in reality, but I make it all up. There we go. There we go. Well, I could keep on going, but I'm going to stop now because I usually time this. Otherwise, I'd be on all day long, and I would kill it. The whole idea here is to do them quick, fast, get in, get out. You can always come back later. If you see something you really liked and you want to develop it, that's when you come back and work on that. Not now. Don't start slowing down now. I'm just cleaning it up right now. Thank goodness for negative shape painting. I can kind of redraw these now. These loose beginnings. Coming back and making the table even whiter. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Big brushes. I'm going to soften this a little bit more. There we go. Soften it. So we have, what do we have here is dark against light, dark against light. Dark against light, dark against light. Same, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, dark, light. Well, that's pretty loose. And now that I'm all keyed up, and I really my brush knows where to go, I know where to go, I know what to do next. That's rehearsal in a sense. And now I'll paint the same thing bigger. And that's great fun. And much easier. You'll attack the larger paintings with a lot more joy. You'll be breathing and you'll be already loosened up and you kind of know where you want to go. These are your warm-ups, just like your sketches in your sketchbook. And that's how I get started. And that's what I do after ready, set, go. You go and you start painting. Don't hesitate, and you're good enough to do your next best painting. Keep practicing and keep practicing, keep practicing. I'll see you on 1,000 of these pairs later on. Take care. I'll see you on the next BobBlast, and thanks for watching, and pass it on to your friends. Take care.